Hey y'all, and welcome back to Sweet Pea and Peonies Designs. I'm Jennifer, and in today's video I'm going to show y'all how I made this really fun and easy project. It only took me about an hour. So this is one of those Libbey glasses that you've probably seen all around social media. I am wiping it down with some 91% rubbing alcohol, and honestly after this it was a little streaky still, so I took it to my sink and used some Dawn dish soap and water and just gave it a good cleaning and then wiped it down with a paper towel. So now that it's all clean, I'm going to go ahead and apply my decal. As you can see, I cut a little bit of the backing off, that way I can stick that side onto the Libbey glass, and then I'll remove the backing from the rest of the decal. So I'm kind of just laying this down, making sure that all the air bubbles that may be there are kind of pressed out, and then I do measure it to make sure that it is even and that it's not sitting crooked on the glass. I'll be honest, this is my second attempt because the first time that baby was super crooked, so I did have to peel it up, and then this is my second attempt, and clearly you can see me measuring it to make sure that it is even, and it is. So after that, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just remove that backing, lay the entire decal flat. I am rubbing down the decal with my fingers, and as I'm rubbing it down, it's actually removing the backing. So that's a super easy way to kind of make sure that all of your decals are straight, by cutting off a little bit of the backing, applying it, measuring it, and then just taking the rest of the backing off. So right there, I do have a little bit of an air bubble. You can take your craft knife, poke a little hole in it, and then kind of just push the air towards the little hole that you made. If the hole doesn't go away, then you actually have debris under there, and there isn't much you can do about that. So the rest of this video is going to be sped up, just so you know, you can probably tell. But now I'm going to go ahead and sand the top of this Libbey jar, and this is just going to kind of scuff up the surface a little bit, so that way the glue that I'm applying my stones with can adhere better. So I scuffed it up with an 80 grit sanding block, and then I just put some rubbing alcohol on that towel you just saw and just wiped it down. So now we're going to go into applying our stones. So I am using Liquid Fusion in a glue pen from the Blinging Bluebird. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue at a time. This glue does kind of start to get a little tacky and start to dry within a few minutes of it being applied. So I'm not going to add a bunch at one time, just little small sections, and then I'll add my stones on top of that section of glue and then move on to the next open area of my project. So that's kind of how I go about doing that. There are some people that use like Bob Smith's 30-minute cure time 2-part epoxy. That'll give you a little bit more working time if you don't like to add a little bit of glue and then add a little bit of stones and then a little bit of glue. It just allows you to apply the glue all at one time and then spend 30 minutes applying your stones. That's personal preference. If you'd rather use an epoxy, or if you'd rather use something like this Liquid Fusion that I'm using. So that glue pen that you saw, I do really like it. It's from the Blinging Bluebird. It is wider, so it's easier to grip. It doesn't have as small of a precision tip that you're probably used to seeing if you know or have a precision tip bottle. It does let out a little bit more glue, but I really like the way that the glue pen feels in my hand. It's super easy to squeeze, and I like that it's an actual pen and not so much a bottle. So check that out. I'll have it linked in my description box. Megan from the Blinging Bluebird is awesome, and that's where I got this glue pen from. I've never seen anybody else have it, so she has it on her site. So as I'm adding these stones, it is being, or they are being added in a scatter method, meaning that I am adding different size stones, anywhere from I think SS6 maybe to SS20. So those are all different size stones that I'm randomly just adding onto this bamboo lid that came on my Libbey jar. And all I'm doing is trying to use as many big stones as possible. And then because we're trying to put round stones next to round stones, we are going to have some spacing. And so I'm using those smaller stones that came in this mix to fill in the spaces. So it is inevitable that you are going to have some spaces show. Like I said, you're trying to put round stones next to round stones, and they just aren't going to fill in all the spaces. So what you could do if you don't like seeing any spaces, or the material that you're blinging on top of, if you don't want to see that, you can base paint that material. So you can see that I left that bamboo color. If I really wanted to hide any of those spacings that I may get, or the gaps that I may get when I add my stones, I could have used like a pink paint or an orangey paint to base paint the top of that lid, and then that way when I add the stones, any of the gaps that are there will be covered and will blend in with the stone color. So if you're going to base paint, make sure that the color that you're base painting with is very close to the color of your stones. That way everything blends in, everything is seamless, and you won't even really notice those gaps unless you're like really looking at it with a magnifying glass. So just keep that in mind. I didn't feel like it was necessary here. I didn't mind if the bamboo lid kind of, you could see it with those gaps. So that's just a little pointer for that if you want everything to look a little more seamless and a little more blended together and not really be able to see any of those gaps on your project. So this pencil that I'm using is called a wax pencil. I got it from Amazon. It will also be linked in my description box. This is the first time I'm using them. I've seen people use them all over social media, and I wanted to give it a try. I was using my Crystal Katana. That is kind of a fatter wax tool, and whereas this wax pencil is like the width of a pencil. I really like this tool, this wax pencil. The wax was sticky enough to really grab onto my stones, but not so sticky that they didn't release when I placed the stones on the glue. So I will continue to be using this. The cool thing about these is that they are sharpenable. So when my tip gets dull, I can literally just use a pencil sharpener and sharpen it, and it's good to go again. I know some of those wax tools have replaceable tips, which is nice because you don't have to buy the whole thing over again, but I just found with my Crystal Katana, it wasn't getting like pointy enough. So with this wax pencil, I can literally get it down to a point to pick up any really small stones that I'm working with. I still love my Crystal Katana. I'll probably still use it for certain things, but I just find when I'm doing a project that has smaller stones, I probably will grab this wax pencil. So these stones that I am using are from Diamond Fire Rhinestones. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how to pronounce the name of them, and I'm not even going to attempt because I will completely butcher it. But there are a really pretty like pinky orange stone with an AB mix on them, and they were a part of her April premiere pack. And so basically a premiere pack is when you buy a pack of rhinestones that comes with 3 different packs. You don't know what they look like. It's kind of like a surprise. So those are really fun, and it came with a pack of all kinds of like pinks and oranges and purples. So there's the name right there, but it's sped up, so y'all probably didn't see it. I'll have it linked in the description box, and you can find it there. I really do like these stones. I really think it's one of my favorites, to be honest. I just love like that pink orange tone or hue that it has, and then when you move it, it has like a bluish tone to it as well. They're just very pretty. So I wanted to let y'all know that I did sign up to have an Amazon storefront. It is linked in my bio, where I have all of my favorite crafting materials that I've used to make rhinestone tumblers and projects, and also some of the things that I used when I used to make epoxy tumblers. So that's all on my Amazon storefront. linked in my bio under crafting materials. And I also just put some like household items that I'm really loving, and also some things for my daughter that she really likes, or things that I've gotten for her that make my life easier. So check that out if y'all are interested. It's just a compilation of all the things that I really enjoy. I will let you know that if you do purchase something from my link, I do make a small commission off of it. So it really does help me out, help the channel out, and help me to continue making fun little projects for y'all, and then being able to share them with y'all on here on YouTube, on TikTok, on all, the social media sites. So thank y'all for the continued support of watching my videos, liking, commenting, and if you check out my storefront and purchase from it. I really do appreciate it more than y'all know. So we're getting to the end here almost, and as you can see, a closer up view of this, I did use a lot of bigger stones, and I think y'all can tell that, and just tried to use the smaller stones when I was filling in the spaces. If you are using more small stones instead of big stones for the majority of your project, one, you're going to use more stones, and two, it's going to take you a lot longer. So just make sure when you're picking up your stones that you are kind of focusing on using the bigger stones to really fill up the project, and then the smaller stones to fill in the project on all the little gaps that you may get from using those bigger stones. With the mixes, it's nice because you get a variety of sizes all in one pack. You don't have to go buy each individual size. So that's really nice because you get, like I said, that variety, and you only have to buy one pack. And you can finish a project in a scatter method a lot easier that way, and truthfully a lot cheaper. So I really do enjoy getting the mixes, especially for using them for a project that I'm gonna do scatter on. So after I apply my last stone, I will set my project down flat and allow it just to cure for 7 days. So with liquid fusion, you do need to let it cure for 7 days before you use your project or wash it, and your cure time depends on the glue that you're using, so just check with whatever glue that you're using. After that 7 days, I'll take it to my sink and wash it with some Dawn dish soap or power wash, whatever I grab, and use a soft bristled brush and just kind of lightly scrub those stones to get any of the wax that may have kind of stuck to my stone when I was applying them, or any debris or residue that's on the stone from when they came from the factory. So this is just going to clean up your project, make it look nice, and it's also going to really show you the sparkle of those stones. If you have any wax residue kind of sitting on top of that stone, or any debris or anything, obviously they're not going to sparkle like they should. So you'll really be able to tell the difference after you wash it. And then after I do wash it and rinse it, I will dry it immediately. I don't want to let water sit on top of these stones. So wash and dry immediately after that. And after that, y'all, you are good to go. You're good to use your project, or you're good to pack it up and send it to your customer, whichever you are doing. I'm still figuring out a schedule for posting regularly, so y'all be patient with me. Thanks. Here she is. This was a quick and fun little project. It took me about an hour to do. I love the decal on it. Love is patient and kind. I think sometimes we need that little gentle reminder. And we didn't fully bling this baby out, but the little bit of added sparkle from the rhinestones on the top of the bamboo lid, to me, just completes this project. You could add a really pretty glass straw, put your coffee in this, or anything else that you like to drink. And I think it's just a really fun little cup to drink out of. If y'all got value from this video or liked it, please let me know by liking and commenting. And that really lets me know that you're liking the projects that I'm putting out. Subscribing helps my channel, and hitting the notification bell ensures you'll never miss another video from me. Thank y'all so much for all the love and support. I will have all of the products that I use listed and linked in the description box below. Don't forget to check out my Amazon storefront. I appreciate it so much. I hope y'all have a wonderful day.